Today's going to be a heavy one. First part's going to be kind of vague. Second part's going to be a little more existential. Both are important. You need one to understand the other. But, yeah. The heavy part, an incident happened last night. I was 1,000% at fault. I absolutely fucked up. I'm not going to go into the specifics because, that's not really the point of this. But, the broader strokes are, I'm trying to think how to word this. I violated someone's autonomy. And while my intentions were not of a malicious nature, I still did it. The intentions don't matter because the action was performed. I am 1,000% at fault. That person has every right to feel exactly as they do. I have attempted to apologize multiple times. They have no obligation to accept or hear that apology. It's still a developing situation, so it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and in no way, shape, or like I said, there's no excuse for what I did. I've traced the reason. I know why I did it. I know the contributing factors to it. But none of that excuses what I did. None of that negates what I did. None of that negates how the other person is feeling, what they felt in the moment, what they may be feeling now. And like I said, I've already tried to apologize to them. If I have the chance, I will apologize to them again and again and again and again and again. Even if this person accepts my apology and everything's good, I'm probably going to be apologizing it for another fucking 10 years because that's who I am. And I can't let my failures go. Especially because, I am disappointed in myself. I'm ashamed of myself because, I work very hard to not be that person. To not be the type of guy who does those things. And in a moment of clouded judgment and instinctual judgment, I did those things. And, that person did not deserve that. It was unwarranted. It was no excuse for it. And yeah, I'm talking in circles about it, but because of where the second half of this video is going to go, the second part of this video is going to go, is going to be kind of focused on how I'm feeling, how my brain is working on this, and it's going to feel kind of pity party, because this, this is a part of my brain that needs to be explored. I need to be able to talk about this stuff. And so there's going to be some pity party. I'm sure somebody watching this on the outside is probably going, oh, boo-hoo, fucking whatever, which is fine. That's totally fine. And that's completely fair. But because this is my video journal fucking format here, I still get to talk about this stuff. And I still get to work through these emotions. And the second part's going to be me-centered because it is the fucking bullshit going on here. And so I do not want to... I want to make sure that I am not trying to garner sympathy, and I'm not trying to take away from what happened. I'm not trying to take away from my mistakes, and I'm especially not trying to take away from the valid feelings of the person of the other person that I did the action to. In the grand scheme of things, it's not cataclysmically horrible, but I didn't kill anybody. But, I did make an extreme fuck up. in the nature of it. So, and no, it is not against my partner. So that's okay. Part 2, the actual existential part of this, because I spent a lot of time in the very negative part of my brain. And it's gotten much better. I'm much happier. I'm in a good relationship. So a lot of that has, gotten much easier to deal with. But I am still bipolar. I am still, I do still have these issues. Like, being happy and being medicated doesn't make it doesn't make everything okay. It doesn't just fix the brain and flip the switch and go, okay, yep, we're good now. And so a tendency that I have is that when I fuck up badly and I'm like racked with this much guilt over what I did and this much, shame over what I did, my natural thing is to basically isolate myself, burn everything down around me, remove myself from everything. And the slightly healthy part of that is that, I do need to give, this other person some space. And they deserve all the space they want, and I will give them all the space they want. And then I will give them more beyond that. I do need to separate from that environment and that person. And that's the healthy part of that. The unhealthy part is that my internal instincts, the part of my brain that's going into, okay, cool, here's what we did, here's what we need to do, is my brain's like, okay, cool, we're going to cut off everybody. We are going to burn everything down because you're a piece of shit and you deserve nothing. And it's hard to get my brain to walk that back, because I try to be a good person, because I do try to hold myself to a very high standard. In some cases, it's unreasonably high standard. I do not forgive myself for making mistakes. And so, like, it, like, where, like, before therapy, before medication, I would superficial self-harm. Like, I wasn't, I wasn't trying to kill myself, but in my brain there definitely was a pound of flesh mentality. Of like, I hurt someone else, I fucked up, I need to be punished, and punishments start at the flesh. And that may be a product of, having a mother who would abuse me for the slightest thing. Like getting hit because I loaded the dishwasher wrong. And like, every mistake came with a physical punishment. And so this may be my brain being wired to go, that's how that works. I'm now perpetuating that. And so it's a rough thing to deal with now, because burning down everything around me, isolating myself, severing all my connections, leaving my partner, which is all where my, which is where my brain is going. It's not a punishment commensurate to the crime, first off. And two, it is a bit of a fucking cop. Really? Wow, bitch doesn't look until she's fucking merging into the lane already. Appreciate that. Can't fucking drive in this area. But like, yes, it's not committing a crime, but and in some ways it is a cop-out too. Because I can admit that there's a part of my brain that's like, okay, cool. I'm going to disappear from this person's life. I'm going to disappear from the lives of every person around them. I will be nothing more than a footnote. And then I won't have to face this person anymore. That part does exist. It's not as big as some of the other parts, but it is there. I would be lying to myself if I didn't admit that. But the bigger part of it for me, like the real crux of all this, is that self-harm, self-destructive fucking thing is still there. The problem is that it's, instead of a pound of flesh, it's, okay, cool. You should be alone forever. And it's brutal. Like, there's times where I have to really, really lean on my therapy. I have to really lean on the fact that, I'm, like, there's the logical part of it and the emotional part of it. And I am a hyper-emotional person. The logic is always there, but I'm very much act on instinct, act on impulse, like, do first, question later. And honestly, that's what got me into this mess in the first place, is I acted before I thought. But yeah, I mean, so, like, last night was, I was super hard on myself, rightfully so, but overly so. Like, I deserve to be ashamed. I deserve to be guilty. That is not in question. I can also recognize that I'm treating a level 4 mistake with a level 7, punishment and beat down on myself. And I mean, another interesting thing that's kind of cool too is that, like, my partner, like, this sucks for her for a number of reasons. One of which being that, like, this incident happened around her friends and her group of people, so it's not a good look for her because I'm attached to her. It's definitely a thing she has to navigate. But she also threaded the thing of, like, not trying to, like, so she's trying to come for me, she's trying to take care of me. But there is a fine line between, like, I want to be there for you, and I want to give a place for your emotions, and I want to, I want to reassure you that I'm still here for you and I still love you, but also not to take away from the fact that I did fuck up. And she was very good about that. Like, it's a hard thing to thread, because naturally we do want to, we do want to be there to completely comfort our partner when they're down like that, even for something they did. And so her being able to, maintain accountability, but not just, like, fucking leave me on the roadside, that's rough, and she handled that well. So yeah, I mean, this next week to 2 weeks is going to be me just fucking beating the fuck out of myself and trying to make sure that I don't escalate my own self-flagellation into fucking, in ways that I can't repair, in ways that are going to completely, like, I'm not trying to spiral and hurt myself and damage myself. Because it's a real possibility. Because as I'm talking about it, as I'm logically saying it doesn't need to happen, my brain is still like, yeah, but you still should. And so that's gonna be like, that's gonna be the next couple weeks of that. Hopefully the other person in this incident, they, like, I hope they're okay. Mentally, physically, emotionally. Physically, they should be. Mentally and emotionally is something different. Because, like, I don't know what else is going on in their life. I don't know what their triggers are. I don't know anything like that. And it's not my place to know. And even if I did know, none of that makes any of what happened acceptable. I hope they're okay. I hope that they, like, I hope that they are able to and willing to, you know, forgive me. They are not obligated to. They are, if they straight said, I never want to see you again, you're a piece of shit and I will never forgive you, that's acceptable. That's valid. That's fine. I deserve that. They are under no obligation to forgive me, to cut me any slack, anything. I recognize that. Like, I do not want to come off as one of those guys where it's like, well, I did this, but they should just forgive me so everything's okay. No, that's not this at all. I want to be forgiven. I would love to be forgiven. I want to, like, fucking, when you see the videos of, like, it's always like a Japanese dude who, like, hurts somebody and, like, literally, like, fucking slides in on his fucking face in the forgiveness pose. That's what I want to do. And I want to let this person stomp me a bit. Like, fucking, I deserve it. Maybe as part of the forgiveness process, is I just fucking let them start wailing on me until they feel that, you know, until they feel like they've equated it out. I mean, if that's what it takes, that's fine. I will take it. That is the punishment. I hope that they are able to forgive me. I hope that we are able to get past this and resume what up until now was the beginning of some form of a friendship. It was in this very infancy stages. It was not, you know, and this wasn't someone I was trying to actively, oh, I'm going to make them my friend, but it's someone who is going to be around a lot, who, you know, I want to be on good terms with. I want to be on friendly terms with. And it's possible that's completely ruined, and I accept that, and I own that. But yeah, we will see how it goes. I'm sure. I don't want to say I'm sure, but based on conversations with other people, there's a very high possibility that they are going to be over it, and I'm still, and like long before I am. Like, I'm going to be beating myself up much longer than they're going to be beating me up. Yeah. It's also a learning experience for me. Like, this is kind of, I guess we're getting to part 3 on this, because I'm very, very big on, you know, there's not an excuse, but there's a reason. And, like, you know, I don't know if I've talked about it before, but we'll kind of cover it now. The idea is this, is that Like, well, let's take this one here, for example. Between last night and this morning, I figured out the reasons why I did what I did. I can trace the logic, I can trace the decision tree, I can trace the factors that, made me do this thing without putting enough thought into it. Like, I can trace where all the instincts came from and how they led to it. That in no way, shape, or form excuses any of that. Knowing the reason why does not make it okay. It does not lessen what I've done. What knowing the reason is for me to make better decisions in the future, to not do something like this again, because now I have it in my brain like, hey, when this type of thing happens, your instinct does this, and so we need to fight that. Because here's the thing, is that, like, I need to word this carefully, but I do not want it to come off as, I'm going to go into it and I will edit it as necessary. When someone does something wrong, they don't just, like, it's not that, like, oh, they disappear, the act is done. Like, someone who makes a mistake, even a big one like that, even a mistake worse than mine, like, there's still a person who still has to continue living and making choices. And, the only thing worse than an offender is a repeat offender. Like, I shouldn't be making the same mistake twice. Like, once is unacceptable. Twice is unforgivable. And so that's where I need to be. Like, I need to build these blocks in where I can go, okay, this is how I make sure I don't make a mistake like that again. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Fucking hold myself accountable. Do not shrink away from the rightful consequences and punishments from the afflicted party. And do not over-punish myself because I have trouble understanding punishment commensurate to the crime. And also, it's not my place to punish myself. I mean, yes, it's my place to hold myself accountable, but it's how do I word this? Like, there is I don't edit these. This is interesting. I can see a world, because I've seen it before with other people, maybe with myself, I don't know if there's any consequence of it, where they feel I'm worthy of a level 5 punishment. Whatever that is. On a scale of a level 5 punishment, whatever that is. And then I give myself a level 7, level 8 punishment, and they're going, okay, cool. You are taking this way fucking overboard. And in some ways, it's, it depending on how fucking extreme I go and how loud my self-punishment is. Like, if I, exile everybody out of my life, fucking kick my partner away from me and don't let her be around me, I'm using my self-flagellation punishment to still put the attention on me. Because Because then it transitions from I made a mistake and I need to atone for that with the afflicted party to I made a mistake. Look how sorry I am. Look how good I am at punishing myself. And especially because, like, you know, it is a tool that a lot of people use, normally men, to overall minimize the impact on their victims, because they go, well, look, I punished myself like this. I did this to myself. You know, I've paid enough because I did this. And they're removing they're removing the agency of the afflicted party. They are removing the closure of the afflicted party. Because, like, you know, this person could decide that, you know what I need for closure is for you to do this, you to say this, and you to feel this. And then I feel that we will be square. And I could go, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And yeah, sure, it's made my life worse. But it doesn't make them feel like they're square, because what I did had nothing to do with them. What I did had to do with me. And so that's kind of the thing too, is that, you know, like, I believe that, you know, punishment and atonement should be primarily between the perpetrator and the afflicted. And so that's another thing I need to keep in mind. I need to hold that in my heart as well. It's not going to be easy, because my normal thing is just fucking cut, run, isolate, burn everything down, start a new life somewhere else, metaphorically. And then maybe in 15 years I will talk to that person again. And that's not okay for me or for anybody else. Yeah, because then, like I said, I'm taking away the victim's agency and their closure, and then I'm also punishing everybody else. Like, yeah, it's complicated emotions. This is where therapy helps out. This is, honestly, even just talking this out has been really helpful for myself to kind of put a lot of this in better perspective. Yeah. If you make a mistake, you own up to it. And you don't decide. You as the perpetrator, you as the aggressor, is the term I'm going to use, you do not get to decide if, you know, if you've been punished enough on what you've done to yourself. Because that's not how that works.